This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman.
In association with Go Earth, navigating boat buyers to better deals. Hi, welcome back to the channel. We've got some video footage here, dramatic scenes near Seattle. The crew members participating in a sailing yacht race were rescued after falling overboard from one of the sailing yachts. The yachts were participating in the Procession Point race from Puget Sound near Edmonds when the incident happened. The male and female crew members were both wearing life jackets, fortunately, and were eventually pulled out of the water around 11:30 a.m. local time on Saturday. Both of them were taken to Swedish Edmonds Hospital. One of them had serious hypothermia but has since been released. One of the rescued sailors posted a statement on Facebook saying that according to the Coast Guard, we were in the water for 45 minutes. I had serious hypothermia, was taken to the hospital via the sheriff's boat and ambulance and warmed up after about an hour. Doctors said I was perfectly fine by some miracle. Thank God I was wearing my life jacket. And that was Sheridan Ferguson, one of the people in the water. Troy Hutt, the person who sent us this video footage, he was on the ferry from Kingston to Edmonds, and he caught that rescue. He knew about this because the vessel made an announcement just before they left just before they left Kingston, saying that they were going to be diverted to help with the rescue. So he went out on deck and filmed this footage. He said, I knew we needed to get upstairs and watch. We could at least be a set of eyes to help. We didn't know if anyone knew where the people were or whether they were still searching for them. So that, very interesting. Hypothermia sets in fast. The colder the water, obviously, the faster it sets in. And it can be, in some conditions, it can be just a few minutes in the water that can be fatal. Anyway, they're both fine now, so that's good to end that story. And we'll move on to our next story now. So we're going to read from Associated Press story here regards to the Alfanero story. Lawyers representing the daughter of a US-sanctioned Russian billionaire has asked the US federal court to access the financial records of officials, including the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. The mega yacht abandoned by Andrei Guriev, a Russian businessman who founded a fertilizer company, is being sought by his daughter, Yulia Gurieva, who claims she is the rightful owner of the boat. As part of the effort to recover the mega yacht, her attorneys stated in the filing that they seek documents and information related to wire transfers and other transactions involving 7 people and 12 entities in the past 5 years. The disappearance of millions from the sale of the Alfanero is just the beginning, said Martin DeLuca. He's a lawyer representing Ms. Guriev, adding that the discovery seeks to uncover whether any alleged backroom deals for personal enrichment took place. The people targeted include Antigua Prime Minister Gaston Brown, his wife, his son, and Antigua's general accountant and the port manager. Following the sale, Antigua's Prime Minister came under fire by opposition party members who demanded details of how the proceeds were spent. They have yet to receive any information. Brown's wife, Maria Brown, Antigua's Minister for Housing, told the Antigua Observer newspaper in July 2024 that the proceeds were used to pay off government debt. Days before the report was published, the Prime Minister said his administration was considering using the money to build a resort. The filing noted that nearly $10 million remains unaccounted for, and the investigators in the case were told the sale documents were no longer available because they had apparently gone missing. I'm sure there's a perfectly logical explanation for that missing $10 million. I mean, who would have thought that there might be corruption in the government? The way these yachts are owned is, it never ceases to amaze me how the ownership of these yachts is just moved around whenever they feel like it. This yacht was abandoned in Antigua for a year. No unpaid bills, unpaid crew salaries. They had fuel on board, which they hadn't paid for. They owed $500,000. The Antiguan government contacted Andrei Guriev, who said he didn't own the boat. He had nothing to do with the boat. We contacted Mr. Guriev as well through his lawyers. They said he doesn't own the boat. He never has. Doesn't own either boat, Luminosity either. Nobody mentioned anything about his daughter. And then a week after the sanctions were lifted by the Antiguan government, they lobbied the US to remove those sanctions so they could sell the vessel after seizing it. And a week later, well, I think it was a week if my memory serves me right, the daughter of Mr. Guriev files papers in the court to block the sale of the yacht. I'm sure that's just a coincidence as well. So yeah, the fact is, Andrei Guriev, it was well known within the industry, let's say, that he was the owner of that boat. I've met many people in the past who've worked on board, who were working on board at the time, etc., who said that he's the owner, and yet now he's not the owner. He doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't even know, apparently, that his daughter owns the boat, and then until she claims ownership of it. Interestingly, in the Alfa Nero story here, they have a photograph of Andrei Guriev meeting President Putin. However, that's Andrei Guriev Jr. That's the son. I believe he's the brother of Gurieva, who's the person who claims to own the yacht. It's the father, Andrei Guriev Sr., who is actually the owner of, or was the owner of, Alfa Nero and Luminosity. All right, we'll move on to our next story. The title of this story on my thing here is "Rage Tweeting After Amadea Court Loss." Very funny. We've received a statement from lawyers who represent Edward Kutenitov after the loss of the court case where the judge ruled in favour of the US government for forfeiture of the yacht Amadea, the €240 million valued yacht. And they've sent out a further statement. This is the second statement since that court loss. It's a very large statement. I'm not going to read it all out, but I'm going to read out a section that I think you'll be interested in. And it's as follows. This is: while the yacht is currently within US jurisdiction, any attempt to sell or transfer it under the authority of this ruling may not be recognized as legitimate outside of the United States. If the vessel is taken beyond US waters, its rightful ownership and the flaws in this ruling may be subject to legal challenges in international courts or other jurisdictions that do not recognize the United States' unilateral actions. We are fully confident that this decision will not stand on appeal. However, while we will continue to fight this injustice through the US legal system, we are also prepared to challenge any illegitimate sale or transfer through international legal channels. This is not just about reclaiming what is rightfully Mr. Kutenitov's. It's about upholding fundamental principles of property rights and due process that extend beyond the reach of any single government. That's a statement on behalf of counsel for Edward Kutenitov and Mill Marine Investments Limited. Now, the prosecutors in the case, they proved that Rachel Dowd was the prosecutor for the Southern District of New York, and she showed at a hearing that Karimov's niece paid a company controlled by Kutenitov €225 million, $243 million in 2021. Now, 2021, this is right around the time we were informed that the yacht had been sold. The yacht had effectively been sat in Montenegro since 2017. It was put on the market immediately, and then we were told it had been sold. People who were close to the vessel told us the boat's on the move now because it's been sold. So thereafter, this is going back to what the prosecutors in the case in New York proved. Karimov's family had sole use of Amadea, using it for Mediterranean and Caribbean trips, and had been planning major renovations, Dowd said. That sounds like a yacht that's been sold, doesn't it? You transfer a large amount of money, which just happens to be around about the amount that the yacht was for sale for, and then all of a sudden you're on board that yacht. So sounds like it was sold to me, but I'm sure that these lawyers, and any lawyers in fact that do this kind of thing, could convince their own mother that they're not actually related because they argue so well about things. Anyway, that's the latest update. I'm sure, like they said, they're already going to appeal this in the appellate courts, so we'll bring you more on that when we have it. All right, guys, it's Friday, and that means it's time for a Friday Yacht Spot. First on the list here, we've got Motor Yacht Excellence. This is in Great Harbour in the British Virgin Islands, sent in by Jost van Dijk. Thanks very much. Owned by Herb Chambers, according to Super Yacht Fan. This is an 80 metre, 260 feet, built by Aberking and Rasmussen in 2019, 2,100 gross tons, with a value of around $110 million. Now, this yacht was at the Monaco Yacht Show in 2019. If you want to see some footage of it and some information about it, you can watch our 2019 Monaco Yacht Show videos. But it won awards for Best Yacht at the Monaco Yacht Show. So, yeah, a very nice yacht. Now, we'll move on. This next one is Motor Yacht Samsara. This belongs to Harry Potter. Just kidding. Obviously, I mean, it actually belongs to J.K. Rowling, the writer of the Harry Potter books. Quite an incredible story, because she didn't have any money until the Harry Potter books came along, and now she's got a 90 metre or 290 foot super yacht, which has a value of around $150 million. So she certainly made a lot of money from those Harry Potter books if she can afford to buy a $150 million super yacht. Built by Ocean Co. in 2015, just under 3,000 gross tons. These photos were taken on the 5th of March 2025. I'm very sorry, I don't have the name of the person who sent this stuff in. So if you're watching, I appreciate it, but I apologize that we didn't have your name. And then last on the list here, we've got Motor Yacht Atomic. This is in Flamingo Marina in Costa Rica. It's a 64-meter yacht. It's about 200 feet. Built in 2020 by VSY Yachts, which is, I believe they are based in Viareggio in Italy. I don't know who the owner is of this one, but according to Boat International, he is a big fan of scuba diving.
So, tell me true, are you guys for scuba?
All right, guys, that's all we've got for today and for this week. It's Friday, so I hope you're going to have a great weekend, regardless of what you're doing. If you're working or whatever, have a great weekend. And let us know what you think about these stories. If you've got any information to add, or if you've got any information about new stories, please be sure to get in touch in normal fashion. Get us in the ticker. You can get us in the email address in the ticket. You can get us on social media, etc. We'd prefer if you emailed us, though. But if you want to contact us anonymously, you can do that through Threema and through Signal as well. So, yeah. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Don't forget to like this video, very important. And, I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.